Can you dig it?
Dig it! Is that's in the NBA commercials now with Shaq?
I know, I like that.
Yeah. Can you dig it? How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Windy City Digits. That's Vic. I'm Carl. Thanks, everyone's been tuning in to the videos. I know since the bowl season was over, we haven't been on here as frequent, but today we did want to do a quick wrap-up. I shouldn't say quick, but we did want to do a wrap-up of the Bulls 21-22 season. So let's start with this, Vic, right? Well, before we go to the digits, just real quick, just overall, like, what'd you think of the season? Like, did you think that it was a success? Did you think it was a failure? Did you think that we could have done more? Just like a quick thought about the season overall.
I go in waves, man. When we first got this team put together, I literally was thinking that we would just make the playoffs. And then midpoint of the year, when we were the number one seed, and then Zach got hurt and Lonzo got hurt, I was like, we'll be lucky if we're number 4 seed. Then with the seed we got, it was a pleasant surprise, honestly. The ending stunk, man. It stunk.
Yeah.
Sour taste in my mouth. We're not as good as that mid-season number 1 seed was. So I feel like we got some more work to do. Not me.
But overall, did you think it was a successful season overall? Or did you feel like we fell short?
Yeah, if I went back to my first thought, yeah, it was. It was actually better than what I thought. I thought they were just going to make the playoffs. So we had hopes that they could even pull off an upset against Milwaukee if they played like they did that second game.
Yeah, look, we were obviously shorthanded in the series, right? I mean, we had guys playing a lot of minutes. And then the last game was it game 5 where we didn't have Caruso or Zach. That didn't help matters at all, No. So being down Lonzo, Zach, 2 of your big 3 free agents that you signed aren't even there,
Yep.
So it was a little bit of a stretch. So, all right. So let's talk about. We're going to talk about 3 specific digits today, right? We're going to talk about 0, 8, and 18. So let's start with 0. All right, 0 for Kobe White. Kobe White, I think, if I remember correctly,
he's got 1 more year left.
Yeah.
The Bulls can sign him to an extension, or they can just wait it out or do a sign and trade. By the way, so Kobe White, he went from 15.1 points per game from last year to 12.7 this year.
Now, do you think that's just because he's playing less? Or is that just because he wasn't as productive as he was last year?
I think it's because he's playing less, honestly. And his turnovers went down from 156 last season to 70. He averaged a career high 38.5% from downtown this year, which is surprising the way he ended the season. He really royally stunk at the end of the season. I mean, I think that was obvious when we were really stinking there for the last 2.5 months. He was brutal. And you were like, If Kobe can't shoot, we need a better consistent shooter than Kobe.
Yeah, I agree. You know what? I think part of it is, I think Kobe's going to have to, understand or adjust to the fact that, unless he ends up on one of these lesser teams that, isn't really good at this point, maybe like a Detroit, or something like that, or maybe like a Portland team, right? Maybe even the Lakers, right? He's not going to be a starter. I know he wants to play more. He wants to be a starter, but he's really going to be a specialist, like a role player, almost like
Craig Hodges.
He could be like Grayson Allen, like Grayson Allen is he's just in the game to shoot, right?
I think Grayson Allen's better. Grayson Allen is better than Kobe White.
He proved that this year. Right.
Yeah. I got roasted on Twitter for that, man.
Kobe White's going to have to learn. Like, he's just going to have to learn. Like, look, you're going to get spot minutes. I think he got better defensively, but probably not enough to be staying in the game in fourth quarters unless we need points.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I agree.
So look, I guess the question really now is if there was a trade package available, right? Like, do you hang on to Kobe for one more year, or do you hoping that he'll develop and then re-sign him, or do you try to get what you can for him in the offseason?
I wouldn't trade him now because I don't know how many people would want him right now. And then again, you don't want to just lose him for nothing. But if he got hot in the beginning of next year, I would start looking at possibly dealing him then.
I'm saying, look, well, what if he's like part of a package, right? Like, let's say if you can get, because Vooch is on the last year too, right? So what if you could trade Vooch and Kobe and maybe a draft pick, right? For let's say, it's probably a little bit less than that, but maybe for for an AD or for some other.
So you would trade Vooch, our number 18 draft pick, and Kobe for like AD.
I don't know how the numbers work out because the NBA trades work out yet. Like, the numbers have to work out perfectly. Like,
they do.
I don't know if that works out exactly to where it would match up. We probably have to throw in a little bit more to get up to AD's salary. But just kind of hypothetical. Like, my question is if he's a throw-in as part of a package, do you trade him?
I guess it depends on what you get for him, man. I don't think he's a high trade value right now, so I don't think it's going to be worth it to do that right now.
Okay, so then the next question I'm going to ask you is: do you think he could come back an improved player? Like, do you think,
I think so.
Like he could be the Kobe that we thought we were drafting, to where like he's learned, like he's like you said, like he's like a Craig Hodges, he's a shooter.
When he came back, I mean, he was pretty solid for a while. I mean, I think we were impressed with him for quite a bit, weren't we? Right?
Yeah, I think the first 2-3 weeks he came back. Now, again, they were kind of working him into the rotation, and he wasn't playing a lot because everybody was healthy back then. If I remember right, when he came back, like the question was who do you take out to play?
Yeah, we did.
Because
we did.
Lonzo was there. Lonzo was there. AC Ayo was playing really well.
He totally was. Yeah. I don't know. I still see him if he can improve his shooting consistency from three. He's a keeper. If he doesn't, then I think you let him go. There's other people who can shoot more consistently. Obviously, even like a Jay Crowder. I would totally love a Jay Crowder on our team. I don't know how old he is though. You got to start looking at age because Vucevic is going to be 32. DeMar's going to be 33. That's getting up there in basketball age.
Yeah, and I think we've got DeMar for at least another 2 years, right? I think he signed a 3-year deal when he came in. So we've got him for at least 2 more years, right? The hope is by then that, some of these other guys we've got will develop. And then who knows what's going to go on with some of these other contracts. So we'd love to hear what you guys think about Kobe White in the comments below. Let us know your thoughts on that. I'm going to go a little bit out of numerical order here, and let's talk about 18 next.
All right, number 18.
The number 18. So the Bulls have in this year's draft, they're not no lottery pick this year, but we're going to be the 18th pick overall. There's just 4 picks, top 14 make it into the lottery. 15 is New Orleans, 16 is Atlanta, 17 is Brooklyn, and then we're at 18. I know it's early, but I obviously haven't looked a whole lot into, like where we are. But I would say this, like I kind of trust.
You trust AK,
Arturis? Yeah, I trust AK and Mark Eversley. I think they've done their homework. Like the couple drafts they've run, we've seemed to have done okay. Drafting Ayo last year first, considering we didn't have a number 1 pick last year. first round pick, that we got Io in the second round, and we picked up a pretty good talent in Io. So I don't know, like I would think by that at 18, it's really just best available at that point, right?
I don't know about that, man. I don't you think we're well, I guess it depends. Once again, I don't have a solid answer for you. I think you're looking for someone from center who can pop their shot and play a little bit better defense than Vooch, or you need another like a 3-point shooter like your buddy that you want from Villanova and Dallas.
Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, you're looking for someone like a Jalen Brunson or like even a Max Struss that Miami has. I mean, I think you're looking for some shooter like that. If you've got that, maybe Kobe becomes expendable. I don't know. Maybe you get some better defense down there like McGee, who could be, power blocker, protect the rim. Maybe you've got a more complete team.
Yeah, I don't know, like 18. That's one of those odd picks. Like it's like literally right in the middle. It's outside the lottery, but we already got an impact player last year in the second round. So I have no doubt if we stayed at 18, we probably would have something. Like I don't know if it's an immediate impact per se, but I think we would have someone.
Well, what if the Bulls package that number 18 pick, like you said, with let's say a Kobe White to move down the draft board and get a better consistent shooter?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I'm looking at a website here, right? I'm looking at sporttrack.com, and the 18th pick is valued at $3.1 million against the cap. So whatever you traded for, Kobe's contract for value, according to this, is 7.4. So if you traded Kobe and the 18th pick, you're looking at about 11 million. Like it's almost like a mid-level type contract. Now, if you added Vooch to that, Vooch is making 22, so that'd be a $33 million player. That's over the top. I mean, DeMar's making 27. Zach made 29 this year, so that probably. Let me see if I can look up.
You're looking at AD?
The Lakers. Yeah, let me look up Lakers.
AD is a free agent in 2024.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, AD is 37 million, so you'd still be a little bit short. You'd have to throw something else in there.
The Lakers have got to do something, man. They may want to make a trade to get a little younger.
Not only that, 1, 2, 3,
they look
4,
terrible.
5, 6. They have 8 players under contract right now, and they're literally over the cap. Like they have 8 players under contract right now, and they're over the cap.
Take AD in a heartbeat, man. Give him Vooch, give him Kobe, and the 18 pick, man. You'd need more than that. All right.
So okay, there's other players there. So dude. All right, so the last number we're going to talk about today is kind of like the elephant in the room, right? 8 for Zach Lavine. And there's been already been talk about it, right? I think who is it that got in trouble for posting some images of Zach in a Laker uniform? Like talking about like it's pretty much like a done deal.
I didn't see that, man.
And I've been seeing some other sites like Dallas would love to try to see if they can lure him to Dallas to kind of complete out that team. Obviously he being from LA, I think it's something that, the Lakers would obviously interest him.
Right now though, just according to CBS Sports, they said there's only 5 teams that are projected to have meaningful enough cap space to sign Zach Lavine. And that's the max. Pacers. Yeah, for the max. Yeah, sorry. Pacers, Magic, the Pistons, the Blazers, and the Spurs. Those 5 teams. So I don't know if any of those teams even would be interested. I mean, be interesting to him. Indiana? No.
No, they're a mess right now. Indiana's a hot mess.
Orlando?
Orlando would be interesting. I was just thinking about that. Orlando would be interesting because they have some good young talent, but that's still a rebuild. Like that's not like a 2-3 year away.
All right. What about Detroit? I mean,
Detroit's
they're looking good
too. That's the same situation.
And then same with the Spurs. And then honestly, the only other one, the Portland, maybe.
If Dame stays.
If Dame stays, yeah.
If Dame stays. The only the biggest advantage for Zach in staying in Chicago would be the marketing stuff. Like, look, you've seen him do commercials this year for
Mountain
Dew, and some of these other commercials. So, and he was doing these commercials with Zion, right? So I think staying in Chicago would maximize his outside contracts, income possibilities with the marketing deals, right? As much as I have, as you say, been a Zach hater all season, right? I would
just to point out, it's been longer than one season.
Whatever. So if he comes look, AK had a good point, right? The longer you keep your core together, the better they play, right? They understand to play each other. So Zach obviously is part of that core.
If they're a good core, yeah.
Well, look, Zach is part of that core, and at least for one more year, right? If you bring a majority of those players back, meaning like DeMar, Vooch, AC, Io, Javante, and Zach, right? And maybe even keep a Derrick Jones Jr. And find another big to back him up other than Tristan Thompson. You've got some guys that, as long as we stay healthy, you would think, especially Io is going to get better, right? DeMar's made it said that we're going to be better overall. Javante, you would think is going to get better.
Patrick Williams, man.
Patrick Williams, I completely forgot the paw.
Yeah, he had a solid end of the season.
Right. So I think keeping all those guys together, I think would be a good thing. But the question I guess you really have to ask is, you're signing Zach to a max deal, which is like what, 5? I think it's 5 years.
5 years, $212 million.
So you're literally like putting all your eggs in a basket with Zach for 5 years.
And then DeMar's done after too. There's no way they're signing him again.
Yeah, look, unless DeMar has like some kind of fountain of youth and decides to sign back for less, right?
That's true. I agree. You may want to.
But by then, your hope is that Io would have developed, and like it's kind of like the BJ Armstrong, John Paxson thing, right? Where you saw BJ was the up and comer, and eventually you knew he was going to take over that spot, and he did. Yeah. And John Paxson went to the bench, and it worked out. Like it seemed to work out. Granted, it was a different day and time, right?
Io's not going to be good as DeMar, though.
You don't think he's good? Well, look, he's starting to develop that mid-range. He's starting to develop that mid-range, right? He's definitely a better defender.
Yeah, he's been a pretty good defender. Obviously he's young. He's got to put some muscle on him. I would say Patrick Williams has the better upside in terms of growth and, people comparing him to Kawhi Leonard.
So let me ask this question. Like, who are the maybe like one or two players out there like you would do a sign and trade that would involve Zach?
One or two players,
unless you feel like you have more. But I know you're all in favor of keeping Zach.
Not as much as I was before, honestly. I do think his injury completely impacted him. I think he was looking better on defense. The team defense was ranked 6th in December before everybody went downhill. I mean, I know we had our schedule was a little lighter, but it dropped from 6th to like 24th or something.
Yeah.
So I do think his injury impacted him quite a bit. So it's kind of hard to judge again. If he was hitting his shots like he had done before, his defense was improved. Like I mean, when are you going to get like a guy that's shooting 28 points, making 28 points a game, and his shooting percentage is still high in terms of 2-point and 3-point percentage? I mean, when are you going to get another chance at another player like that? Unless you do a sign and trade, who would that be? Who could score 28 points a game almost healthy, of course, that you could grab?
There's very few players I would think like that, but like just off the top of my head, and it'll never happen, right? Klay Thompson.
Yeah, that won't ever happen.
That'll never happen, right? But
like I would do that. I would do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, because look, you're not going to get Steph, right? But
no.
If you could get a Klay Thompson, what do you think about like a Damian Lillard?
Jordan Poole?
What do you think about Damian Lillard?
I mean, I love Damian Lillard. He'd be amazing. Does he like the ball in his hand too much too? Is he an ISO?
I don't think he's an ISO.
Another trade for an ISO. He's older than Zach. I just don't know.
That's not what you said. You asked who could provide points. You didn't ask the age.
No, age matters when we've already aged our team quite a bit by getting Vooch and see how old he's 31. Honestly, yeah, I guess he would be comparable.
Okay, so I guess here's the question: really, is do you think Zach can average, let's say, even 20? Like conservative, can he average 25 over the next 5 years?
Yes.
Is he worth signing for that?
Yes, it is.
Because if you don't think you're going to get those points, because
I don't think you're going to find someone.
Do you think Patrick Williams could average 25 a game?
I would be happy if he could average 18 a game. If he could average 18 and 10, I would think that would be amazing. If he does that next year and you keep Zach Lavine, our team is in really good shape. Of course, you need a healthy Lonzo. That's really good, man.
Here's the thing. So let's kind of play like before we go, right? Like, what if you could get Patrick Williams and Io between the two of them to average 45 points a game? Is that enough?
30 and 15. Man, that's
20, that would be like 20 and 25.
Dude, that's not happening next year, man.
I'm not asking for next year.
Okay,
over the course of the next 5 years, if you don't sign Zach, if you get those guys to be more productive, we saw like Patrick Williams, the one game where there was no DeMar, there was no Zach. The guy went off for like what, 30 something, almost 40.
Yeah. It was the last game of the year, right? So,
right. But he's capable of it.
I know he looked impressive. Yeah. I don't think he could be consistent like that yet. So maybe in 2 years. So 3 out of 5 years, I think he's more of a possible player that can average more consistently than Ayo right now. So what do you think? I think you're more strong on Ayo than I am.
I think if you're looking like 3-4 years down the line, like the way that Ayo played this year as a rookie, obviously this year will be more telling, right? Because he's only on a 2-year contract for Ayo, right? So, but I could see it where you could build around Ayo, AC, and Patrick Williams. And if you get a good draft pick at 18 and someone that you can throw in there, maybe if you can get a center to back up Vooch that could be developed, that's 4 pretty good pieces right there. If Kobe picks up the pace, that could be another guy that you could throw into that loop, right? Lonzo's still young, so Lonzo conceivably could be around for a while.
Yeah,
right?
No, Lonzo, I like Lonzo. Lonzo is solid to stay.
As long as he's healthy.
The only guys I'm kind of doubting is Kobe, Vooch, and I guess Zach to a certain degree. But Kobe and Vooch are my first two to go.
So if push comes to shove today, would you sign Zach to the max?
Yes, I would sign Zach to the max. Unless I've got the phone and I'm calling other people around and I can figure out stuff. If I've got the GM skills like AK does, I'll give it up to him though. I mean, he's a really intelligent guy. If he trades Zach, sign and trade for some package deal,
we could get Joker. Ooh, we get somehow pull off Joker, getting Joker. That'd be awesome.
That's not happening either.
But anyway, well, I don't know. What do you put your chances at Zach resigning?
Well, according to my sources, I would say 97% with the Bulls. I think all his talk is just to try and get leverage. So I think he'll end up with the Bulls.
Okay.
He's getting his knee scoped out soon too.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how.
So he should be healthy. I'm more worried about Lonzo.
Even if his knee gets scoped soon, right? No one's going to say anything about whether it went well. Everything's going to say it went well. It went well, obviously. No one's going to say like if it went bad or it's going to be longer term. No, everyone's going to say it went great. So that's not a whole lot. So anyway, listen, thanks everyone's been tuning in with us the whole season. It was fun for us. We love doing this. We're just two guys that just like hanging out. We're best buds and just like talking about Bulls. But we do appreciate everyone that's been tuning in throughout the season. Why are we even doing this? I don't understand. But so for the next couple months, we're going to be switching gears a little bit, probably switch a little bit of baseball, a little bit of football. But whenever some news comes up for the Bulls, like the draft or when free agency comes around and we'll just dropping bombs left and right, we'll be back talking about Bulls. But we do appreciate everyone tuning in. Stay tuned with us. We'll still be talking football, baseball, Cubs, Sox, Bears, and then Bulls whenever it comes up.
Cut.
Thanks everyone for coming in and watching the video. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the likes, subscribe, hit the bell.
Ding, ding.
Peace.
Love.
And digits.
Yeah.